Hey everybody, good morning, it's Jillian. So I wanted to give you another symptom that I felt when I was very briefly afflicted a couple, like not yesterday, but the day before. Um, I actually felt my body heat up a few times, like temperature rise, like almost like a hot flash. And and then that was not yesterday, but the day before. And that was the day I had the headache. And then yesterday I just bounced back. And my husband right now, he has right now a headache. And he's getting like hot flashes too, because when your temperature rises, it's because it's fighting infection. It's fighting the imbalance of the viral data. And so that's when inflammation and pain happens. And then it's supposed to get released through your poop, your pee, your mucus, and all of that. Okay. So that's why it's so important that you poop, you pee, you do the J juice so you can release the excess antibodies that are being produced to fight infection. Okay. So that's just another clue that I forgot to mention yesterday when I was talking about the day before. Also, too, in my old book, and I didn't mention in this book, this new book, because I don't feel I need to, about the Rh factor. Well, not the Rh factor, but the blood types. Because, I mean, it's going to be obvious when people understand blood types. When you have antigen, antigen creates antibodies. So if you have a blood type A, blood type B, and then you have the Rh factor, which could be positive or negative, and that's based on how many antibodies of a specific rhesus monkey gene virus a person has. Some people will hold on, have a lot more antibodies than others as far as the rhesus monkey gene. But as far as the blood type, that is a surface marker antigen. And that antigen just stays on the blood and it creates antibodies. So you actually are creating antibodies on a continuous basis, which means that it doesn't leave a lot of room for other antibodies that need to be created. I mean, it does, but then what happens is you go into infection. It goes into an overaccumulation. That's why you see people, you see people who are blood type A and blood type B have a lot more predispositions. Okay? And so it's not so much like the conspiracy world where the blood type O is like alien. No, blood type O is just the way that your biochemistry is, where it doesn't allow the surface marker antigen to stay in the blood. Somehow the body is able to release it. And it could be genetic markers, could be a lot of different things. But remember, you can change your genetics. You can change your blood type. That is totally possible. Okay? But I didn't put that in the book because it's like, how do you substantiate that? I mean, I could say theoretically, yeah, the J juice can change your blood type, but there is nothing in PubMed that would show that a person has ever changed their blood type, because everyone thinks that, when you're born with a blood type, it stays that way, but it may change throughout your lifetime, but not because you did anything in particular. It just does through evolution. And what I proposed in my old book, the one that's out right now, which is more theoretical than not, is that you could actually change your blood type through the J juice. And that means that you could get rid of the excess antigen, the surface marker antigen, so it's not automatically producing antibodies to not give you enough room for new antibodies, such as this coronavirus, for you to deal with and then let go. So if you are a blood type O, you have a better ability to release and your better biochemistry to be able to clean up your blood and release the excess. But those with type A and type B have a harder time, which would make sense. Okay, because type O people are naturally healthier, but they still don't escape the hormonal imbalances. Like, I know people who are type O that are obese. Okay. So just being type O doesn't get you out of the woods. It just makes it easier for you to heal and change your biochemistry. Okay. So with the J juice, it has the ability to break up the antibodies, because just like anything, if you get too much antigen in your blood, like you have an allergic reaction, and you have too many white blood cells, you have a high white blood cell count, guess what they do? They put you on an IV bag. That IV bag is electrolytes. Those electrolytes break up the antibodies, but you still need to release them. So yes, you can break up the antibodies so they don't agglutinate and cause more infection, but now you have to also release them. And that's the whole point of the J juice, is that it energizes your digestive system, your body, mind, and spirit, so it can release and regenerate. Because that's what it's about, is releasing and regenerating. Sarah, yeah, I'm not surprised you are a type, you're an A. But yeah, release and regenerate, okay? And that's really like the whole focal point of J juice. And so with the whole thing with the J juice, the electrolytes, the micro and macronutrition, the salts, all of that works in concert together with the body to be able to handle your environment. Because if you have too many antibodies, you have infection, you have autoimmunity, you have cancer, disease, chronic illness, all of that stuff. Okay? When you go into rapid antibody accumulation and it starts taking you down and destroying vital organs, it's because you have the lack of ability to release when you need to. And that's why the J juice is so paramount, because they do use the electrolytes or the IV bags to help with people with infection. Okay? So yes, so people with A blood types, there is an article from MSN that says people who are A blood type has a lot more susceptibility to this disease. Now, why blood type A versus blood type B? Well, there's surface marker antigen A, surface marker antigen B. Now, with this antigen, they don't say what this antigen is. What is antigen? It's an excess. Antigen is an excess of anything that's in your environment that your body cannot handle, or it's handling, but it's now causing anomalies because it's not being released. It's sustained mutations, negative mutations to the body. So if you are surface marker antigen A, or you could be an A and B. So if you can be blood type AB positive, blood type A, blood type B, type O negative, O positive. The Rh factor is just the rhesus monkey gene, but the blood type tells you how much pollution, when you think about it, is in your system that you need to release. And when you have a lot more pollution than other people, and what is pollution? It's an excess of anything that your body cannot handle, or it's handling, but it's handling it not very well. And that's when you're triggering cancer, disease, and chronic illness. Okay, so this would be a good time for people to do the J juice. Know your blood type. I tried to test my blood back in like in 2018 before I went to Portugal, and I think I sent away for this from it's like a Walmart blood type test, and I tried to do it online and I could not stab myself with a little needle. I could not prick myself because I just don't see a point in harming myself in any way, shape, or form to prove to people that I'm an O negative, because I don't even have the proof right now that I was O positive. And when I was in the military, that's when they blood typed me, because I didn't know, my parents didn't know, they never blood typed me when I was a kid. So how I knew was when I was in the military. And so I knew in the military I was O positive. So I'm like, well, now that I'm on the J juice, I could potentially be O negative, but do I have any proof? No, because I'm too afraid to get the stupid test, because I don't like poking myself. I don't like needles, none of that. Maybe one day, I don't know, but I really don't feel a need to. But those of you that are like O negative, O positive, or you are blood type A, blood type B, you do the J juice and you start cleaning out the antigen in your body, you may see a change in your blood type. And people have said that their blood types have changed over time. Okay? The reason why, they have the RhoGAM shot. Okay? So I found out giving childbirth, I can't remember, but it was okay. Yeah, you're probably O negative, Michelle. But yeah, the RhoGAM shot is the antigen that helps the mother and the baby actually get used to the new environment. So the antibodies of the mother doesn't attack the baby who is an Rh factor positive. Okay, so any kind of antigen that you bring into your body, whatever it is, because it needs to build up antibodies, it's going to cause some kind of upset of homeostasis no matter what. And if you are continuously if you're holding antigen in your body and you're continuously producing antibodies, at some point that's going to wear down on your body, mind, and spirit. Okay? So that's why it's so important to understand the role of J juice, because it is being used, as far as some of the components, to break up antibodies and break up infection in the hospital. When you have when you get an allergic reaction from an antibiotic, when you're dehydrated, the electrolytes is that stabilizing force, but it's not used as a cure-all, because it's not just the dextrose and the salt that will jump us to the next level. It's actually the probiotics and the micro and macronutrition. So the hospital's only got half of the equation of the J juice, which is basically what the holistic and the allopathic world are doing. They're only doing half the equation of the J juice. And then they try to compartmentalize the other equation. So with the J juice, it's a full equation of not only electrolytes and micro and macronutrients. Well, it's not only electrolytes, but it's also the micro and macronutrition. It's the probiotics. It's the water. It's all of that. And even though even the J juice recipe, like the official J juice recipe, has no like sugar or no syrup in it, you can add it for those that are not hypoglycemic or dealing with diabetic issues. Some people need to have the sugar in there because they're hypoglycemic. Okay. So someone who is, not hypo. So if you're hypoglycemic, you have a major sugar issue where you have low blood glucose, it won't be a bad thing to add maple syrup to the J juice, because not only are you getting the sugar, you're also getting the electrolytes with the salts, the micro macronutrition, and the probiotics. But if you have diabetic issues and you have high sugar issues, then obviously you wouldn't add sugar to the J juice, or you wouldn't add any syrup to the J juice. You would drink it the way it is, and then you would still eat your food, so it would have some kind of sugar. Okay? Some of you have too much acid imbalances, and there's certain foods you have to stay away from until you see a difference in your mucus. And so Michelle goes, what if I need extra potassium? That's all in the freaking J juice, Michelle. Everything's in the J juice. Yeah, you can add syrup if you want. It's up to you. You experiment with it. You all experiment. Everything in my next book, some of you could add syrup to, but here's the thing though. If you have sugar issues and you already have obesity issues and you already have other issues, it would not be prudent to add sugar to the J juice because you already have sugar issues. Just eat your regular food supply, drink the J juice, because regular food supply has a lot of sugar in it. I don't want people eating 20 million fucking donuts. But if you already know you have obesity issues, you have dietary issues, you have other issues, you want to stick with the J juice protocol, eat your regular meals, be more moderate in that, okay? And you need to see specific measurable results, because not just getting waterfalls isn't enough. Now you have to see specific measurable results. Are you losing the weight? Are you stabilizing your issues, your diseases? Are you seeing a difference in your demeanor, in your body, mind, and spirit? It's not just doing the waterfalls. It's not just reversing the known issues. There are other issues that you may be encountering that you had no idea that you had an issue in. So there's a lot more than just doing waterfalls, a lot more than thinking that the adding sugar to the J juice protocol is like the best to get like the best of all the worlds, because some of you don't need the excess sugar, but you still need the food supply. You still need the carbs. But if you're drinking massive amounts of freaking sugar in the J juice and you're eating the carbs and you're, eating your regular food supply, you still have imbalances. So you need to have the salts. You need to have the micro and macronutrition. You need to have the water. You need to have the probiotics, and you need to see specific measurable results. I lost body fat. I shrunk my fat cells, lost the excess water weight 3 weeks into the protocol. And I didn't have any sugar in the, actually, I stayed away from sugar because in the beginning with the J juice protocol, I had no sugar. Well, I had like potatoes that had carbs, right? But in the beginning of the J juice protocol, there was like no sugar, no carbs, no nothing. It was just straight up, chicken, eggs, fruits and vegetables, raw seeds, raw nuts, and good oils. And that was it. Now we've changed it because some of you need to have the carbs. Some of you are only like 85 pounds. Some of you are underweight. And when you're underweight, you obviously are lacking the carbs, lacking the sugar. So you're going to need it. So that's why I don't have any kind of diet, because some of you are from one end of the spectrum to the other. Some of you have very low blood sugar issues. Some of you have very high blood sugar issues. So for me to put out any kind of diet universally is not something that we do at JJuice. JJuice now is you have to figure out where you are on that spectrum of low blood sugar, high blood sugar, and then you figure out. And if you are erring more on the side of a high blood sugar issue and high sugar issues and high obesity issues, maybe it's prudent that you have a more simpler diet, stick to the JJuice, be more moderate in your food intake. Don't go overboard on things that you know are going to feed the fungus, especially if you have fungus issues and obesity issues and all of that. And then you start seeing specific measurable results, because it doesn't make sense to do JJuice and you see no results. That's why people give up, because they don't know how to read their body right. They don't understand the role of mucus. They are only doing a little bit of juice. Okay. They've plateaued and then they don't increase their dosage. And so that's why you see people who still say the same kind of, you don't see too much of a difference in their demeanor, what they say, what they do, because they're only doing JJuice a little bit. The environment's becoming more aggressive and they're only sticking to 1 quart. Now, I remember a couple years ago, back in 2017, I tried to do like 3/4 of a gallon, or half a gallon. And, I think what I've proven on the Facebook Live was I could do at least half a gallon in like 15 minutes. Okay. You could do a gallon a day. That's hardly impossible. You could do a gallon a day, especially now that you're quarantined. People can do a gallon a day. You can do 2 quarts in the morning, 2 quarts at night, 2 quarts in the first hour, and then you do all your waterfalls and do 2 quarts. But I found it can be very exhausting to do two sets of waterfalls per day. Okay, so I would rather that if you can do as much as you can in the beginning of the day, get your waterfalls, get as much as you can. And sometimes you have to break up your portions. Just like sometimes you need more carbs, Michelle. Sometimes you need less carbs. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you need more, what would I say? More nutrition. And so that's why you need to increase your portions. And so when you get a waterfall is when the body is called autophagy. Lindsay Greenhay. Autophagy is when the body gets energized to where it releases the excess stuff that's in your colon. It's like a colon wash, a colon cleanse, but it's not just for the colon. It's you'll see manifestations like mucus come up. So waterfalls is when your body is releasing the excess poop in your colon and in your intestines. And the water is the carrier force, the salt is the energizing force, as well as it energizes all the cells that hold a lot of antigen, and cleans your blood too. It cleans everything. And so that's when the body is able to release the excess. And then what people do is they drink the JJuice, they drink water, and that's why I did about half a gallon in one sitting. And it's where you feel so full. And that was with the pink salt, but now we're doing the white salt. So you don't have as much that you have to wade through, because the pink salt produced a lot of yeast because it's the heavy metals that are in the freaking pink salt. So we now changed it from the pink salt to the white salt. So it should be easier to do the JJuice and do a half a gallon or 3/4 of a gallon in one sitting. Okay. And maybe you guys need to stop using the straw. Maybe you just need to just chug it from the mason jar. And then, hold on. And get to the next level. Because even though you might feel a little bloated and a little bit full, you are now going to jump yourself to the next level. And every time I did that, every time I did more than my usual, or I broke up the homeostasis of my usual dosage, whatever it was, I saw a jump in my healing process. Okay, if you just stick to 1 cup a day, 2 cups a day, or a quart a day, and that's it, then you could be plateauing. You don't even know it. You may see certain things like disappear. Okay, but what about getting to the next level? Because it's not just the symptoms you know about; it's also your demeanor, your thought process. how you deal with, whatever issues you have in your life. Okay. And sometimes, you have to ask yourself the question. Now, I've been through a lot of different revelations on this protocol with the pink salt as well as with the white salt. And I'm very vocal about it. You guys seen all of the questions that I'm asking you guys, the questions I'm asking the universe, the revelations within me, within everything else. I mean, and you guys are going to have your own personal revelations, whatever they are. You may have like a whole awakening or a breakthrough in your relationship with your husband, in a relationship with your daughter, your son, in your relationship with your culture, with your parents, your sisters, your brothers. There are things in people's lives that do change because of the changes in your body, mind, and spirit. And it's like you need to take notice of that. Okay, so that's why I say that you guys, sometimes you need to shake it up a bit and increase your dosage. Every so often, doesn't mean that you have to do it every single day, but every so often, just do more. Well, here's the thing, your histamine issues, here's the thing, Sarah. Histamine issues is the body trying to adapt to an environment that you basically are not giving it what it needs. And if you're going to live from that perspective, that the J juice basically causes your histamine issues and your anaphylactic symptoms, then you're never going to be able to get well. Because at some point you're going to have to face the pain. And if you don't want to and you only do a little bit, then yeah, you're going to be going downhill very quickly. Sometimes you have to go through the pain. And histamine and anaphylactic, I mean, here's the thing. You're not allergic. If you're allergic to the ferment, then don't do it. Don't even bother. If you think that the ferment's going to cause you to go into some kind of death spiral, like an anaphylactic reaction, then don't do it. This is not for you. But I know people have dealt with histamine issues. And if you are anaphylactic diagnosable allergic to tomatoes, then don't eat tomatoes. Do the J juice and do the tomatoes. No matter what, you're going to have to deal with your issues. But if you want to use the I'm allergic, I have anaphylactic histamine issues, then no different than someone says, well, I can't do the juice because I don't want to do waterfalls. I can't do the juice because I don't want to feel the pain. Then this is not for you. You need to stay with your doctor. Not everybody is a candidate for the juice. Some people will use their symptoms as an excuse not to heal. Some people will use that because it's easier to listen to their doctor and go down that road and blame their doctor and blame that than it is to actually face the pain. And Krista says she fixed her histamine issues. Yeah, I said it way back in the beginning of my old book. Histamine issues is just another freaking symptom of the body trying to adapt and you were failing to give it what it needs. Now, if somebody's allergic to tomatoes, then don't eat tomatoes. But do the J juice, you're not going to die from eating a fucking tomato. But if you think you're going to die from drinking the J juice, then you know what? Don't even do it. And I don't want to hear anybody's excuses. So, but you just use it as an excuse, Sarah Beach. Okay, you use it as an excuse. You have a histamine. You know what? I had PMDD. You think that stopped me? Krista has other issues. You think that stopped her? Oh, but you're going to let your histamine issue stop you. Then don't do it, Sarah Beach. Don't even do it. This is not for you. If you guys want to use your symptoms and your diagnosable diseases as an excuse not to do it, and you don't understand the whole J juice protocol, then you shouldn't be on the protocol at all. Thanks, Matthew. Because let me tell you, people will use all of their diseases as an excuse of why they can't, because they're too special. I'm so special, I've got a disease that nobody else has, and J juice won't even touch it because I'm an alien or whatever else. And I've dealt with these people all the time, every single day. And those people that I don't talk and speak to those people that use their disease as an excuse of why they can't heal. Those people who use their disease as an excuse to not heal, to not do the J juice, because the J juice will make you confront everything that you've used as an excuse not to get to the next level. So if you want to use your histamine excuse, is that why you can't do J juice? Then you're not going to get the healing and you'll stay stuck, and then this environment's get more aggressive and then you'll go down with the ship like everybody else. Because if you don't get more aggressive in your intake with the J juice and understanding it, then the environment is going to swallow you up And some of you are not going to survive this environment because this environment is very aggressive and only the strong are going to survive. And I already see who's going to survive and who's not going to survive. Because some of you are too scared to actually face real healing. That's fine. If you don't go to the doctor and you're afraid of doing JJUS and you're using the word histamine issue as your excuse, you don't know where the hell you want to be. You need to go to the doctor, Sarah Beach. You don't need to be doing JJUS. So I'm going to tell you publicly to everybody, if you have a histamine issue and you're too afraid to do the JJUS, you need to go to your doctor because the JJUS is not for you. If you can't handle, if you want to call it an anaphylactic reaction to the JJUS, then that means you think that JJUS is causing you to have antibodies. You're saying that JJUS is poisonous, causing antibodies to cause your death. So it means that you need to go to your doctor. You don't need to play this in between of JJUS and the doctor. You need to pick a freaking side. And if you can't pick a side, then you're forever going to be then blaming somebody of why you couldn't heal. Oh, I got anaphylactic issues. Oh, I got histamine issues. That was like the first argument in the beginning of the JJUS world. Oh, the cabbage, I'm allergic to cabbage because it makes me shit. Well, that's the whole fucking point. Okay, what the hell? Oh, I get histamine issues. I get these reactions. I get that reaction. You have freaking cancer disease, chronic illness. What do you think your body is going to do when it's trying to heal? It has a freaking reaction. Oh, but you're not going to give it what it needs. And then you're going to say, oh yeah, can I still get, benefit from the JJUS only doing a teaspoon because of my histamine reaction? No, you're not. Just get off. Don't even bother. You're just teasing your body with a freaking teaspoon. You're teasing your body. Go to your doctor. And don't use me right now being a bitch as a way to like say, oh, fine, I'll do the JJUS. And then you're like, oh, I ended up in the hospital because of Jillian because she was making me feel bad because I only did a teaspoon a day. No. Whatever, Sarah. You had to use the word histamine and anaphylactic in the same sentence as JJUS. So yeah, I read your comment. And you are basically making correlation equals causation. Oh, will I still get benefit if I only do a teaspoon a day because I get anaphylactic and I get this? What else are you inferring? Okay, what else? So, you're going to have symptoms on the JJUS no matter what. And if you don't want to deal with the symptom, then you need to get off the JJUS, go to the doctor and get all the pills, powder supplements, and whatever. And yeah, I'm trying to drive you away from this. The reason why I'm a bitch to those that are really afraid of the JJUS, because you've been on my Facebook for how long? For freaking 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you're still playing and asking me the same questions that was asked me way back. And so I would rather you not do the JJUS because you're not a candidate for it. You're not. You need to go see your doctor for your anaphylactic reactions to everything out there. The JJUS is not for you. Okay? So, I hope I scare you away from this because I don't want you to do this and then have this expectation or use me as an excuse of, yeah, I'm going to do the JJUS now. And then you'd be like, oh, I'm going to the doctor because Jillian caused an anaphylactic reaction to me because I did it and I have all these symptoms and whatever. No. You're the type of person I don't want on this protocol because you'll blame me either way. Okay? So I would rather scare those that are already scared to begin with. No, this is not for you. This protocol is for people who understand that you're going to have to deal with whatever predispositions you brought to the table. And if you can't face that, then you need to go see your doctor and don't play the statement, if I'm going to be anti-doctor, but I'm going to still be afraid of the JJUS. And so you won't take a side. You won't choose a side. You know what? You're going to have to choose life or death. Mother Nature is going to force you to choose life or death. Mother Nature's not going to allow you to straddle both worlds. There are two absolutes, life or death in this world. Okay? Two absolutes. And if you can't understand there's two absolutes in this world, then believe me, Mother Nature will choose for you because you can't make a choice for yourself. So I will make the choice for you. You go see a doctor. That is your world. The JJUS world is not for you, Sarah Beach. And I'm going to put it out there. It's not for you. And Caroline goes, the point is if you only drink a teaspoon per day, then you don't understand the protocol. And yeah, you're wasting your time. You're teasing your body. And then you're going to prolong your battle to where you're not going to be able to survive it no matter what. It'll be a waste of your time, a waste of your body's time. You might as well just go and listen to your doctor. Well, I don't see a doctor. Well, then you should. You need to see your doctor, Sarah Beach. Okay? So, yeah, I would rather scare those away. I'd rather become a bitch and scare those away that don't understand it, because they will mischaracterize it. They will keep continuously looping in the same questions, in the same fear, in the same all that stuff. And I've actually released people from my group because they still feel the fear. They still project their mischaracterization of the J juice. They still want people to go and coddle them through this. They want everyone to say, what should I do if I have all this anxiety and all this? Deal with it. There's nothing anybody can do for you. You do it for yourself, or you go see a fucking doctor and they'll do something for you. But there's nothing anybody can do in my group for any of your symptoms. Nothing. I don't care if you're trying to go into biohacking. I don't care if you're going to play with your hormones and take drugs. That's not what my group is about. My group is not about trying to mitigate your symptoms, because symptoms is the body trying to heal. And if you're trying to anesthetize yourself, then you need to go see your doctor. If you don't want to feel pain, you need to go see your doctor and take all the drugs out there to anesthetize yourself so you don't feel shit. So when I went through the Jilly Juice protocol, I dealt with my PMDD like Caroline did. I dealt with the headache the other day. I dealt with the things that I knew that my body was going through. And I supported my body with the J Juice because it has the nutrition. And you've been on my freaking Facebook for the last 3 years, Sarah Beach, and you still don't get the J Juice protocol, you'll never get it. So, I'm going to release you from the group because you're not a candidate. You're not a candidate. And I don't want you asking any more questions on my Facebook. So I'm going to be very clear. No more questions about the J Juice for you on my Facebook. Either you go see a doctor or you do it. End of story. Because I'm not going to play these games, people, of them just ignoring my information, trying to make correlation equals causation, that Jilly Juice will cause you anaphylactic issues and cause all the antibodies to build up. No, you have predispositions, Sarah Beach, and you don't want to face that. And you're not going to mischaracterize my juice as something poisonous to cause you all of these issues. So that's who I released from the group, are those people that want to still blame the juice for their yeast infections because of the yeast that was in with the pink salt. They want to blame the juice for anaphylactic histamine issues. They want to blame the juice for all of these issues that they have. And those people do not take responsibility of their pre-existing conditions they brought to the table that they're going to have to deal with. And supposedly you got my book. Supposedly, maybe, I don't know, maybe you didn't. Supposedly you read my book. Maybe you didn't. So maybe you should wait for the book to come out. I am not turning your words into something else, Sarah. You're not a candidate for the juice. Your questions alone tell me exactly where you are, and you're not with the juice. No. Will I still get benefit if I have histamine issues? Anaphylactic issues? For doing a teaspoon a day? What kind of question is that? Will I still get benefit if I do a teaspoon and I have my predispositions come up? You freaking tell me. But you're not a candidate for the juice. Because those that are afraid of histamine reactions, those are afraid of anaphylactic reactions with the J juice, doesn't understand it. And you're making a correlation, you're making indirect correlation equals causation, and I'm not going to deal with it. So I will be blocking you after this, so just so you know. Because you've been on my Facebook for the last 2-3 years and you still don't get it. And you never will. So, nope. Some people can do the juice, others cannot. Some people can do the juice, others cannot. And I get that. And I'm not afraid to release those that I know will not get it. They need to go see a doctor. Sarah, you need to go see a doctor. This is not for you. This is not for you. And so you can be all incredulous and call me a bitch, but I would rather play the tough guy and know who you are, that you're not a candidate for this and you need to see a doctor. Some people can do this, other people can't. It's the reality. It's not like I'm being a bitch. I just know who can handle this and who can't. But I don't want you to make a mischaracterization. Okay? And I don't want you to put yourself in an expectation that you will have that will not get met. This environment is so aggressive, and if you're not aggressive with the J juice, you're not going to survive it. So you might as well find a different path. This is not your path. There is stuff out there that people can use as cures, but you know how cures are temporary, but you're not looking for anything long term. You're looking for a temporary solution so you don't have to feel any pain. That's what you're looking for, Sarah. You're not saying it in so many words, but you're indirectly saying it. So I'm reading between the lines. You've been on my Facebook for the last 3 years. At some point, it's got to sink in. If it doesn't, then it never will, and I'm not going to sell this to you. Okay? I'm not going to. So that's my decision on the matter. You do what you want to do. You have access to, my book's coming out in June. You have access to the recipe. You have my YouTube videos. You have my business page. But I'm not going to give my time like this to you anymore. Because you already have had my time for the last 3 freaking years and you still don't get it. You never will. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. But anyway, so the whole Rh factor is, or the blood type, is the person that is accumulating antibodies and they need to release it. And so when you are accumulating antibodies on a continuous basis because of your blood type, that's when the body starts getting those counter disease and chronic illness. And then you get exposed to the coronavirus. And then there you go. It is it's a train that has left the station. And so the way for you to not fall victim to the coronavirus, as well as everything else that's going on in your body, mind, and spirit, is you need to break up the antibodies and release the excess. And you're going to have to deal with the symptoms. And if you don't want to deal with symptoms, then, this isn't for you. This isn't for you. Okay? But I challenge anyone that is an AB positive to do the J juice. Do the J juice and do it aggressively if they can handle it. And then test themselves a couple years later and see what their blood type is. I think you'll be very, very surprised. Okay? I think you'll be very, very surprised. But, yeah, here's the thing. I have to get more aggressive now. You guys have to get more aggressive in your intake. You have to get more aggressive in your approach to the J juice. We've made it easier. There's no diet. And the white salt is so much easier. It smells better. It's so much easier to get down. It tastes better. And so those that just walked into the Jilly Juice protocol will have a much easier time with it. And then mucus is your barometer. Okay? When I reintroduced foods too quickly that I knew were causing more imbalances and everything, and I just stuck with the J juice. When I introduced foods too quickly, too early on, I had all this mucus. So then what I did was I avoided that food for a minute because I couldn't handle having that hamburger. I couldn't handle having that fried food that had maybe peanut oil. And so I got into a mucus attack. And so then I went home and just rested. And then I stayed on the J juice. And then later on down the road, I reintroduced that same food that gave me that mucus attack, and there was no mucus. So essentially, you could say that was an allergic reaction. Okay, whenever you get a massive amount of mucus or antibodies, or an anaphylactic reaction, that's a lot of mucus, a lot of antibodies being built up. And then the J juice will go and break that shit up. Okay, but you have to deal with the fact that it's going to be uncomfortable. And if you think the J juice is not going to help with dispersing the antibodies, you think it's going to cause antibodies, and you're only doing a teaspoon a freaking day, then you don't get the J juice. Okay? You don't get and understand the salt, the electrolytes, the micro macronutrition, the probiotics. You don't get that, and you never will. And that's why I am the way I am. I know the kind of questions people ask me. I know what level of understanding they have. I know how long they've been on my Facebook. I know how much they've contributed and not contributed. So it's not like I'm being harsh to everyone that asks these kind of questions. No, there's people I know, some of you I've known for the last 3 or 4 years, and you're the same people on my Facebook. And when I get the same people asking the same kind of questions, the same kind of fears, I know at some point I got to cut and release. Okay? So But yeah, that's the whole thing with the J juice is that you were releasing the excess antibodies because at some point you'll test negative. If you test positive for any kind of virus or disease, it's because you have all these antibodies that will eventually agglutinate at some point and turn into the actual viral symptoms of when causes complication. Just like with a drug test. When you go get a titer test or a drug test, they want to see how soon your exposure was, how many antibodies of the cannabinoids that you have built up because of your recent exposure. But let's say you haven't smoked pot in like 6 or 7 months. It's not going to read or test positive on a titer test or on a drug test. They'll test negative. You'll still have the antibody, but not as much as if you had an actual recent exposure. And they have specific conditions in these tests to determine what a recent event is and what's a very long-term event. Because you will, for anything that you have in your environment that you've been exposed to, there's an antibody for it. Because antibodies are part of your environment. Okay? It's the amount of antibodies you have is what they look as a recent exposure, as the body not able to release. There's a lot of determining factors. Okay? Especially with this coronavirus, when you just get exposed to it, you have a lot more antibodies at your recent exposure versus down the line. But people who are asymptomatic could still have a high amount of antibodies and still test positive. But the body is able to work with it. The body is still able to deal with it. And then maybe down the road, they don't test positive. They test it because you can have false positives, false negatives, all of that, because the body always going through constant fluctuations. And so with the J juice is that you're now going to take control of that situation. And you're going to be able to disperse the antibodies so they don't overaccumulate. You'll still have them. They'll still be a defense. But you will also be supporting your system in the right manner to where if it needs to produce antibodies, like the day before, I was feeling hot. I felt my temperature rise and fall that day. I had a headache. I was tired. And then yesterday, bounced right back. Energy came back with a gusto. Okay, so sometimes your adaptation process will be like a day. Sometimes your adaptation process will be like 2 weeks. When sometimes these people have these colds and flus and all, and these coronavirus for like 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, because their body is not adapting correctly. And so when you have a sickness for whatever amount of time, it's the body's adaptation process. So the longer that you're sick means the less tolerant your body is to the new environment. And it's trying its best to steal resources from your hair, skin, and nails so it can adapt. And that's why you see the aging process happen faster in a more aggressive environment. The aging process happens slower in a more calm environment. Okay? So all of that is a correlation. All of that is a correlation. And so the J juice will slow down the aging process so you can release the things that are aging you. You can release and regenerate. That's what it is. It's release and regeneration. And those two have to be conjoined together. Right now, the allopathic holistic is all about releasing in one instance with no cross-functional communication in the regeneration. And so that's why they're not seeing the potential for indefinite life because they haven't put those two together. Sarah, you need to chill the hell out. You need to back off. I don't need to hear your whole story of what's going on, but you need to back off. You need to back off. So either you get it or you don't. You can give me all the story you want, all the background you want, but either you get it or you don't. It's simple as that. You could have all the changes in the background, but whatever. But I'm done. So anyway, so long-term sickness is somebody's trying to adapt to an environment. Short-term sickness is when people are able to adapt very quickly. Okay? And some of you will have a short-term sickness when you're younger, okay, because the body's able to bounce back. But as you get older, now you have chronic conditions that you're managing. Okay? And that's when the body is trying to adapt, and that's when it steals from the hair, skin, and nails so it can keep the vital organs going, because that's what takes most precedent, is the vital organs. And, and that's why people lose their looks, lose their collagen, lose everything except for their vital organs, until one day that virus, whatever it is then going to be that straw that broke the camel's back. And one of those antibodies are going to then shut down one of your vital organs. And so it means that you did not give your body what it needs. It means that you never faced your predispositions. It means that you allowed your body to go allowed your body to go so horribly wrong, and you did not get ahead of the curve. And then you are now so behind the eight ball that there's no way you can get back. And if you did, you would have to be in so much pain to do it. And that's what happens in hospice, is when you allow yourself to get so behind the eight ball, and then you try to do the J juice, and you just don't have the strength in the body, mind, and spirit to handle the healing process. And so you give up. Some of you are in that position right now. I hope you're not, Sarah, but I from what I'm reading right now, you still don't get it. I don't care if you had different things happen. You can have, people have operations in the beginning. They have all these different things that happen, but they still do the J juice. And they still do it aggressively or not aggressively. And if they don't do it aggressively, then they have to expect that they're not going to get the healing. I mean, it's just pretty cut and dry. If you don't bring in nutrition, you don't release the excess, and you don't deal with the healing symptoms, you're not going to get the freaking benefit. What part of that you don't even understand? Oh yeah, can I take only a little bit of food, have like one meal a day, and I'm jogging and running and doing all this, this work, and can I still get benefit of the strength? No, if you're doing more energetic things out there, if you're running and you're doing labor-intensive work, and you're only eating vegan and vegetarian one meal a day, you think your body's going to be able to handle that? No, you're not going to get freaking nutritional benefit if you're doing all this exerted activity, and you're only giving your body a little bit of fuel. So I say, oh yeah, can I do a full tank of gas type of, traveling on a quarter of a tank? No, you can't do a full tank of gas type of trip with only a quarter of a tank. Oh yeah, can I buy, this couch for $700 for $1? No, you can't buy a $700 couch for a freaking dollar. It costs $700 for that freaking couch. You think $1 is going to pay for that couch? No, it's not. That's how you have to look at the freaking J juice. If you can't look at J juice that way, then forget it. You're not going to get it. No, you cannot take fucking shortcuts and expect to get the fucking benefit. That's not reality. That's someone that doesn't want to face what they have. Okay? You can't take the shortcuts and expect to have the benefits. It just doesn't make sense. You can't take 1 teaspoon a day with all of your predispositions and think you're going to come out like me. Fuck no, you have to actually do the work. Oh no, I don't want to do the work. I think I can get benefit off J juice 1 teaspoon a day and not deal with anything and be afraid of all the different symptoms and think that I'm going to get the benefit. No, your question alone tells me you don't understand the J juice, and you haven't understood the J juice. And if you are backsliding and having other issues go on, it's because you allowed yourself to get that bad, because you had the potential to not have a backslide. So that's why this juice isn't for everybody, because not everyone's going to stick with it. And I'll tell you what, it's hard. This J juice is not easy. But if you know what the alternative is, it becomes easy. Now, what I do at this point, like, half a gallon in one sitting? I really don't want to. I don't need to. I've paid my dues in going through and I did it with a freaking pink salt, with all that yeast, with all of those heavy metals. I did it with a freaking pink salt. Okay? So now you guys have it so much easier with the white salt. There should be no reason why you can't jump to the next level. There should be no reason why you can't get the healing and all the different revelations. There should be no reason why you couldn't get to that next level. Some of you need to up your intake, up your portions of your nutrition. There's no point in going on a diet when you have a very aggressive environment. There's no point, if you can't afford that couch, then don't buy it. If you only have $1 in your checking account and you want that $700 couch, you can't buy that couch for $1. You got to go and earn that freaking couch. Go get a job. That's kind of what the J juice is. You got to earn your benefits. And if you don't want to earn your benefits, then you're not going to, then you're living a socialist freaking background. Jesus. Nothing is given to anybody. You got to earn this shit. And now we have quarantine, there should be no reason why anyone shouldn't be doing the J juice and healing. God, the government has given you guys permission to just sit home and freaking drink the J juice and watch freaking Netflix and get paid for it. You get leeway where you don't maybe have to pay your rent or pay your mortgage or whatever. Some of you do, some of you don't. Okay? So this is a perfect opportunity for those of you that are serious about J juice to step it up the next level. Step it up. Because you have no other choice. Nothing better going on. They're not wanting you to travel. They're not doing the vacations. You're probably, some of you are stuck in the conspiracy world, the activist world. Maybe you need to chill out on that because there's nothing you can fucking do except drink the J juice and freaking heal and be a testimony. Not a complaint, not another freaking question, the same thing that I went over the last couple of years. But actually freaking do it. And be an example to those around you because not many of you are going to survive this. Some of you are going to have people in your life that are going to die from this coronavirus. And so either you die, or they die, or you live, and maybe they live if they see you. But some of you have been around this juice for such a long time, I don't know why you're not an example. I don't know why I haven't seen a testimony from some of you. You know why? Because you're too busy worrying about the conspiracies out there. You're too busy playing those games. Well, now you have a chance to go sit at home because there's idiots out there that are going to try to fight the government on this. Because we have millennials that are out there playing freaking spring break, not even caring about the fact that they could actually be in the crosshairs. Because they have so many predispositions that they're actually one of the biggest target groups. Not only the seniors, but also the millennials. With all the different pre-existing conditions, comorbidities. So you might as well just be the example, guys. And now you have the latitude to do it. You have the time. Say at least 15 days quarantine. So you should jump yourself up to the next level. You start, reflecting on where you want to be in this life. Or do you want to be in this life at all? Or you want to just succumb to the atmosphere? Because that's what it comes down to. Okay? I knew that if I didn't do this J juice, because I saw the results right off the bat. I knew what I had. Did I have all the science and everything figured out? No, because I was still in the research stage, but I knew what I had. Then it was just perfecting it. That's all it was just perfecting it and substantiating it. And then the evolution around it. So, I asked people in my group, what's your evolution? What are you afraid of? What are you hiding behind? What are you afraid of? What's your revelations? Are you dreaming? Do you have any kind of do you sense things before they happen? When you sense something and you have like a dream and then you saw something happen afterwards, you making the correlation that maybe your dreams are telling you something, warning you something, giving you some kind of, bigger picture or smaller picture or something? Are you in tune with your pineal gland? Some of you are not in tune with your pineal gland because it's still calcified because you're still playing in those games. You haven't decalcified your pineal gland. So yeah, you're not at one with the universe. You're not at one with yourself. You're not at one with anybody except for your predispositions and your fears. And that's a very, very low body, mind, and spirit. Is when you're still dealing with all of your fears and you've been on the J juice and you've been around the J juice for the last 3 freaking years and you're still playing in the low energy fields. When you do the white salt with the J juice, it's so much easier. You're going to see cobwebs disappear. You're going to see a lot of things change. And I did it on the freaking pink juice, the pink salt. Imagine what's available on the white salt. That has more mileage and more energy than the pink salt does. So those of you that are not doing the J juice at all or haven't changed their salt, don't even know what could be possible. And I feel bad for those that are still in fear. I feel bad because that's where you're going to stay. You're going to stay fearful of the government because there are idiots out there. They're doing stupid shit. They're going to need the military to go and keep people in their homes because you have millennials that are running around that don't have a care in the world, that are picking up the virus and passing it around. We have boomers out there. I see boomers. They're out there taking their family to fucking vacations in Mexico in the midst of all this. We're going to need the military. Martial law, I welcome it. You know what? Because the National Guard, they want to make sure that there's people that don't make the right choices for themselves. There are people that think the government's out to kill them and get them because they listen to too many conspiracies. Georgia Guidestones, people are taking themselves out of the equation. It's not the government. You have all of the information around the J-Juice. You have choices around the doctors, choices around holistic stuff. And if you choose the doctors and holistic stuff and you don't want to do J-Juice, then you've chosen. And you've chosen the side of where you want to be on the Georgia Guidestones. That is your choice. It's not me. But I've given you guys all the information. Every bit of it. And I wrote a second freaking book to make up for the first book that had premature revelations. But it was where I was at the time. I've dealt with so much freaking flack from all my critics, from the media, from whatever. I deal with all of your questions, the same fucking questions over and over and over again. And at some point, you guys are going to have to take responsibility. You guys are going to have to do it. You're going to have to listen to me instead of freaking stay stuck in the stupid conspiracy world. Because it's not serving you. And you guys have no freaking testimonies to show for it. None. Are you going to survive this virus? Some of you will, some of you won't. Some of you will survive it because you're lucky, because you're genetics. And some of you won't. Because you're too afraid, you don't want to apply the protocol, and you still want to put your energy in things that don't serve you. So, you know, as long as I know I did 100%, then I know I'm in the right, I'm in the cool, I'm good. My conscience is clear. And then if I can, support, and if I can, I don't know how to say support, what would the other word be? If I can really give you guys the extra added pressure, I guess. That's not really the right word either. If I can get you guys just to get to the next level in some way, even if it's just one day, you try to do at least a half a gallon in a half an hour. Do the waterfalls, drink the J-Juice, don't use a straw, and just gulp it. Don't let your body think about it first. Your body will think eventually. And you will get the waterfalls, you'll drink water, you'll be thirsty. But sometimes you need to get that nutrition in. Some of you are so malnourished and so full of malnutrition that you need this nutrition. You need the electrolytes, you need the probiotics, you need all of that. And you're so lacking in it. And yeah, you're going to have to deal with the healing. You're going to have to deal with the upgrade. If not, the virus will downgrade you. Instead of you upgrading yourself, the virus will downgrade you and recycle you back into the universe. Because you're not giving your body what it needs, somebody else will take you out. And that will be the coronavirus. So, it's your choice. You make the choice to live, or somebody will make the choice for you to go the opposite direction. Two absolutes, life or death. You can choose to live, or the coronavirus will take you out. And I wasn't expecting to have this scenario with the J-Juice, but viruses turn the hands of time very fast. Mother Nature turned the clock up very quickly. And now you've been armed with this information. You better do something with it. And if you don't, that's on you. Because Dr. Phil, myself, all of my critics, the media, and then my book, and then my YouTube videos, my business page, my Facebook page, has given you all the fucking information. Where the hell have you been that you don't get it? Those that get it, good for you. I'm so fucking proud of you. Those that don't get it, where the hell? Is your head in the sand? Yeah, your head's in the sand. I can't do anything about that. That's why I don't do any personal consultations. I don't answer really any questions through private message at all. People get mad at me, but they wait till the 11th hour for their animal to be, on death's door. And now they want me to say, hey, what do I do for this animal? I'm not answering that question. I'm not being put in that position to be responsible for somebody's death because they applied the J juice and they didn't do it correctly or whatever the hell, or they stopped doing it, or they were too afraid of the animal's, symptoms because they're going through a healing process and they blame me because they stopped it and the animal passed away. I'm not going there. You guys are responsible for your animals, responsible for yourself. You raised your animal, you raised your kids, you raised yourself. You're the one that created the death trajectory in your animal, in yourself, and in your kids. Now you must take responsibility. I'm not responsible for anybody's life or death. Now it's up to you. So that's why I take the stance that I take. And it just win me a lot of reviews. I actually lost probably somebody that was supporting me because I wouldn't help her with her animal at the end of life. Was she really a supporter? Maybe not. But I will not be put in position to be someone's last resort. That's why I don't do private consultations. That's why I don't do that. So now you guys will own up to your part, your contribution in the death and in life of this world. It's all up to you, babies. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.